Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today we got a Walking Dead TV show Q&A. Before we jump into that, though, I want to show you guys this really cool shirt that Tino Evil sent. I was supposed to show this off in the map mail. It's coming because they sent two shirts, but I freaking love this thing. You got Negan dragging Rick off, and it's like a Monopoly card, but I'll leave a link down in the video description, and I'm going to post the map mail video tomorrow, I think. And also, if you're a figure collector for The Walking Dead, they got new figures. There's a new Lucille bat. This one's covered in blood. I know we all saw that coming, but it looks damn awesome. They have a Dwight 7-inch figure, a Negan 7-inch, a Negan 5-inch, 2-pack with a Glenn 5-inch. Now, they didn't confirm it from what I can tell, but we can almost guarantee there's going to be a crushed Glenn skull, just like they did with the comic 2-pack. I think that's very awesome. We got a Negan 10-inch figure. We got a Sasha figure they announced a while back. A mysteriously missing Jesus 7-inch figure that was highly promoted a few months ago. Then they took it off their website. Then they put it back on, took it off, or at least maybe it was a glitch or something. But I went to double check and I couldn't find it. It's Jesus with his hands up, but he's also not shown on this display, so that's getting really weird. Maybe they pulled him. I'm hoping they are adding a 5-inch Jesus, and that's what they're waiting for, but that's all that we got so far. Now that I'm looking at the TV, I'm hoping that the Negan and Glenn come with that little stretch of ground. I think this little stretch of dirt ground to help display these figures would be a cool addition, and it looks like it's in the box, so I'm hoping that's actually something they bring it with. But tomorrow they're supposed to be releasing 2 more unannounced figures. That's from what I'm hearing. That might not be true, so I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to do a video based on these, just to let you guys know. Yes, I'm getting all your messages. I looked at them. Everything's pretty cool. I think it's a good lineup. We're missing some figures that I'm expecting to be announced, so stay tuned for that video coming later this week. With that said, let's dive right into the questions. With Grayson asked, do you think the new trash community could be behind Heath's disappearance? Nah, right off the top of my head, I don't get that vibe. It could be, absolutely. I'm kind of hoping that this is going to go in a different direction. We already have Father Gabriel, now we have Heath. Well, then again, that might be a connection there, you know? If Heath was taken, Father Gabriel was taken, maybe that is how they learn about the communities. But then, why do we have them finding them at the boat? You see what I'm saying? So, it's up in the air. I don't know. To bring him back with another community during all-out war might seem like overkill, so he could actually be with this new group. I don't know. Kevin Quintana or something. Who do you think is the traitor for the survivors? This is coming from an article that Lenny James did, the actor playing Morgan. He said somebody was going to betray the group, and I kind of feel like, or at least at first I felt like, they were setting Father Gabriel up to be the betrayer, and it wasn't going to be the case. So that's what I think. I don't think we need anyone to betray the group. We did have a scene between Eric and Aaron, and I feel like if we were going to give Eric some proper development, it should be something different than someone who betrays the group. So I'm hoping they're not going to go in the direction of Eric, but if they do, I'm hoping it's nothing too bad, you know what I mean? Vance, 640. Morgan has become my #1 character. The actor is so good. I mean, he's so good. This is not a question, but I want to bring this up because I completely agree. I love the actor, and I loved his performance in the last episode. The last episode did not blow me away. I was a little bit under the weather. I was expecting something slightly different. However, it's still a good episode, and I loved Morgan's performance, and I love what Morgan was saying because Morgan is right, and I'm shocked by how many comic book fans listened to what Morgan said and still turned around and said, oh, come on, Morgan, get with the damn program. Morgan is definitely right. You have a better chance at taking out the leader and then seeing how everything falls into place than you do going to war and conquering everybody. Morgan's way of thinking is the best. If you could take out Negan by any means, take out Negan. If someone rises up in his place, okay, let's handle that. From the jump, we might lose less people if we just take out the leader, you know what I mean? We might have a better platform to negotiate if we take Negan out, lock him up in a cell, and then negotiate between the communities. I stand with Morgan. I think he has the best plan to get the least amount of people killed. Matthew Robles. I think Daryl said that was because, wait, what? Michael said line him up. Oh, alright, yeah, I did not like when Daryl said in the last episode, oh, let's get out of here, this is bullshit. I still don't like it. I still think it's a dumb thing for that character to say. And I think it was a fantastic attempt to have, what's his name, Richard, say, you know, line up. They lined up for Negan, so this kind of triggered Daryl. Essentially, it just has Daryl getting super pissed. I would have thought that would have been a more fantastic way than having Daryl go, okay, let's leave. We're out of here. Because again, yes, he is being triggered by what Richard is saying, but in the same strength, I want to see that killer Daryl come out of him as if he has blinders on. You know what I mean? He hears line up, and he's a threatened animal, and he's going to go for the throat. That's the Daryl I wanted. I think that fits perfectly with the situation, with the character, with the pain and the torment, while Daryl, you know, is filling up with this rage, and his eyes are just burning. He's, you know, burning holes through Richard. He's about to spring in and attack. That's what it seems. And then Rick notices it, and Rick, you know, tames him down, be like, oh, Daryl, fucking chill. That's a better direction that I would have enjoyed better, because I think the other Daryl is dumb. It's dumb. You have one option in front of you. You have one opportunity that is better than all the other opportunities to meet a like-minded group. Daryl wants to walk away because he got triggered. Fuck no. If you love it, you love it. For me, I watch it and I cringe a little. Matt Davis. Rosita made me smile. Warriors can stand together in battle. That doesn't mean they are going to get a beer. Listen, I partially agree with you here. The only thing I like about Rosita's pissed off attitude is the fact that it's almost a callback to how Sasha was a dick to Abraham. That's the only aspect I love, because way back when when they were making their way to Alexandria without knowing they were going to Alexandria, Sasha lost Tyrese, and she was just pissed off. Abraham started small talk with her, and I think Sasha said something like, I ain't your friend, you know, we're not friends, some shit like that, and she walked off real pissed. I love how that connects together. In the same strength, though, Rosita just killed an innocent person, so they could have had her do that, but all this attitude with every single character, all the time, constantly, almost to the point of like blinding her and making her unbearable, I think it's too much. I think they laid it on too thick. How about that? But I see what you're saying. Yvette Ramirez. I don't think it was Father Gabriel who left a note. It was whoever was watching Rick and Aaron at the boathouse. Here's the thing. I will give it to everyone who says it was the Junkyard community that left the note. Fine. I just see so many different problems with that. If you wanted to approach these people, why would you lure them to a place that is close to your community? Now, if we watch the new episode tonight, and they lured them to the boat area, and that area is not close to their community, okay, I see what they're saying. They set them in an area, they brought them to an area where they can set a trap. Okay, that's fine. They were waiting for them, so it makes sense. But why would you leave it in a notebook that was just thrown on the floor? Maybe that also makes sense because they know they would see the pantry empty and they would pick up the inventory log and see if there was anything, you know, marked in the log. I don't know. It felt like it was a clue that could have been easily missed. And that group of Junkyard warriors would have been sitting there all day. Imagine if no one's seen the note. As a matter of fact, Tobin and them found the pantry empty, saw Gabriel was gone, and no one did anything. No one found the notebook. No one found the note, the boat area. So yeah, I think that was, it's a little iffy. I would have preferred if heard it, scribbled it down, and then got dragged away, left the notebook. It fits a little better. It's a little easier for me to digest that as a reality, as opposed to someone saying, okay, let's set a trap. Let's leave a little clue that's going to be extremely hard to find. It seems like a more desperate thing for Gabriel than a deliberate trap is what I'm saying. Veritas. Ronnie, I would think the Saviors required a kill in Alexandria on general principle. Daryl, I thought the writing for Trevor was sloppy. Carl connection, Daryl leaving. Negan brought Carl back, so it didn't make sense at all. I disagree with this completely. Simon was smart. Simon was right. You say it doesn't make any sense at all, but Simon was right. You know what I'm saying? Carl shows up at the sanctuary. No, Carl did not have anything to do with Daryl directly, but think about it. Jesus showed up. He came with Carl. It's not just a coincidence that Carl shows up and Daryl got out. There's more involved. Now, it's not directly related to it, so there's no way Simon can figure this out. He can't torture anybody and get any information out of it because Carl is not the one who, let him free. Carl wasn't there. Jesus was there, but Simon is, he's on the right track. But there's that one thing that can't make the connection for him, which is Carl got separated and he wasn't with Jesus at the time, but Jesus was there. So if Carl was pressured, he could say that Jesus came with them. Boom. That's all Simon needs to know. Jesus was there. Okay, how convenient. So then he goes to the hilltop, and then slowly but surely, if people buckle, he can get the answer to what happened to Daryl. You know what I mean? So, no, I strongly disagree with that. I think it makes perfect sense. It's the most logical thing. A character escapes. This other character just got there. Well, is there a connection there? And there is. Cindy Fern. Morgan told some lies to Daryl and Rick. That is why the dialogue was there. It wasn't just a graze. Why did he say that? It's not just a graze. Why did he say that? Because this is TV. And that's one thing I think, if anyone's going to criticize The Walking Dead, I see a lot of criticisms that I feel are ridiculous. You want to really, truly criticize The Walking Dead for being sloppy? Daryl got shot and he's fine right now. He got blasted through the shoulder, blood all over the screen. He was near death's door, bleeding out. I mean, that bullet went through and through. Even if it didn't break any bones or whatever, that shit's going to be sore and tender for a while. And days later, Daryl's acting like he's fine. He has a little Band-Aid on it, but then he's fine. That is incredibly unforgiving, sloppy. No, I messed that up. But that is so sloppy, it's unforgivable. That is something you should point out to anyone creatively involved in that. And a lot of it, and you guys know I love Norman Reedus. I have problems with what they do with his character from time to time. I think that's because I'm such a huge Norman Reedus fan. I want them to get Daryl perfect every single time. But I 80% blame the actor for that. This is your one character. You should always know, okay, it's been a week, it's been 2 weeks. Oh man, he's going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? He's going to be babying that wounded area. And when the directors come, the new directors, when the writers come, he needs to be reminding them, yo, don't forget, he got blasted there. That shit's going to be a little weak. So then maybe he shoots with this side. Maybe he even shows pain or grunting. Maybe you even show somebody changing the gauze. It hasn't been that long. Even if it's been a few weeks, I still feel like that's going to be tender as hell for him to just move around freely like that, Then again, they did have him punch Negan full force with that arm just after getting shot. So do we really expect any consistency there with the wounds? And that relates to Carol because they amp up this, Carol's on the ground, Carol got shot, bang, bang. Both bullets were graze wounds. And look she's healed. She's fine. That's ridiculous. Anyway, Eric, where are we at? A Tricky Life. Eric and Aaron were out scouting for weeks. Oh, back to your question. Yeah, Morgan didn't lie about it being a graze wound. It was just a graze. That's why he said that. And he said that because it's just artificial tension built up by sloppy writing and storytelling. If they want to shoot Carol, shoot her, have her heal, work that into the story. Don't just say we want her to heal fast so then we can have a Carol who's at 100% in the story. No, have a Carol who's at 30-40% in the story. It's better storytelling that way. You know what I mean? A Tricky Life. Eric and Aaron were out scouting for weeks at a time since the beginning of the apocalypse. How the fuck did they never see these huge ass groups of people? Yeah, this is another flaw. Now, in the comic book, it is easily explained. I can explain that easily because if the Hilltop's here, if the Kingdom's here, and if Aaron and Aaron, you ever walk out your house, we hop in cars, we drive all around because the world is functioning, you know what I mean? Even still, with vehicles and going here and here, there's neighborhoods, there's areas, there's sections, and I've lived in this area for 4 years now. There's sections that I've never gone to. There's side roads, back streets I've never gone to. And if you're scavenging and if you're out on foot or in vehicles and you got to really pay attention to how far you go, where you go, it's so big, it's so vast that even going out scavenging for a year, you're still going to have areas that you never went to. But The Walking Dead is making bigger communities with the Junkyard group, Negan warring with all these different communities, having all these communities running around gathering supplies for Negan. AMC, I feel, may have shot themselves in the foot. That also, I will give that to anybody who wants to criticize The Walking Dead for sloppy writing. That is sloppy writing, because as Aaron and Heath and all these other scavenger groups are going out, they are bound to run into other groups who are scavenging for Negan. However, if they got super lucky and all these groups were here scavenging this way and Alexandria was here scavenging this way, that's how I'm going to look at it. That way it's not always dwelling on my mind. But yes, if you do criticize that, I'm not going to argue. It's a little bit sloppy. If they make maps and kind of do little diagrams, that might make it a little easier to swallow. There's no name here, but it says, I think this is why not a lot of people are enjoying The Walking Dead lately. They are sacrificing realism for comic book accuracy. One thing that made The Walking Dead so brilliant during Season 1 was how grounded and realistic it was. I will strongly disagree with this here completely, because there's a ton from Season 1 that is comic book accurate. I mean, incredibly accurate, you know what I mean? And some of the most unrealistic stuff on the show is stuff that is nowhere near the comic book material. So yeah, I'm going to strongly disagree. Like the stuff with the car and the metal cable and all that, nothing like that's in the comic book, if that's what you're going with, because that was the most recent one. There's a ton of stuff from Season 1 that was definitely in the comic. The Vatos, the CDC, some of the stuff I don't like the most was actually stuff that was new to the story. But that's a whole nother big discussion for a different day. Let me know what you guys think about that, because I think Season 1 was great, and a lot of it was directly pulled from the comic. Oh my god, these fucking names. Weird-er-inna. I didn't like the episode at all. The Rise of Maggie Green. What are you talking about? I don't see any rise of Maggie's character. To me, it seems as if the show has lost its way, its soul, its magic. However you might call it, it leaves me kind of sad. I don't know, we're going to need a little bit more information, but if you want to know what I said by The Rise of Maggie Green, I made a video way back called The Rise of Maggie Green /re, whatever you want to say it. I say green just because I went with green. It's green in the comic. It is just, unless I catch myself saying it, it's just a force of habit. I said that in that episode because I predicted that throughout the rest of the season, we will see little mini moments leading up to Maggie doing something epic, maybe at the end of the season, maybe at the start of the new season, as far as becoming the leader. So that's another little sliver of a moment where she is, where this is showcasing the rise of Maggie Green. She didn't rise in that one episode. She's been rising since Glenn was killed. Like, at that moment, this has been the rise of Maggie Green's story. So when I say that, I don't mean this one moment where these people come to her and Enid and whatever. I mean, here's another little piece to add to that story, the rise of Maggie Green. You know what I mean? Chris in Cremona. It's really getting annoying how TV fans are nitpicking every fucking second of the show. How fans, not TV fans, he just said fans. Reading through the comments would almost make it seem as if it was a poorly made TV show on TV. I messed that up. This was a fantastic episode that overall did a lot to advance the plot while also including some really cool moments, yet a huge majority of people are still dissatisfied. I guess you can't win with this fan base. Here's another one. I think I put these together to strongly disagree, because here's another one I strongly disagree. I've read a ton of comments and a ton of them were positive. I think when you are annoyed at the negative comments, I think you see double. You know what I mean? Like you'll read a few negative comments and to you it seems like there's more there, because when I read it, I got a lot of positive comments. I heard a lot of positive things from the fan base, and it's even scored as a good episode, even in the reviews online and all that. Now, where I strongly disagree is, don't you remember from Season 2 how many fans hated or complained about Rick? Rick was enemy number 1 in Season 2. Tell me you guys remember that, because I remember being so satisfied at the mid-season finale because so many fans were shitting on Rick Grimes so hard, and he was my all-time favorite character. most of the fan base, it felt, loved Shane instead of Rick. And it was brutal back in season 2. And then when Shane pulled that tough guy bullshit and he wasn't even able to step up when Sophia came out of the barn and Rick was the one who stepped up, I was at the edge of my seat like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I was hyped in that moment because this was something where even the fans were turning on Rick, or so it seemed. And then slowly Rick started building this this following that just grew every year. I still feel like Rick's following is growing every year, you know, more and more. When it comes to fans complaining, you're always going to get that. Every single episode, even episodes that are the highest scoring episodes, there's always fans that will complain. There's always fans that will nitpick. There are fans, and we label all these people as fans, but there are people who watch the show that aren't even fans, but they will watch every single episode. I'm starting to pick out some of these people in the comments and stuff, and it seems like it's a minority of them, but no matter what happens, they're always there to complain. They always want it to be better. They always want it to be different, but they're still watching. And I think that boils down to there might be a group of people who have nothing better to do, and there's nothing really on that's as good or as interesting, or maybe they just, you know, got hooked into the community where they enjoy the conversation. And there are some people that enjoy even negative conversation. It doesn't have to be positive. It doesn't have to be about something you like. There's some people who enjoy just being negative all the damn time. So we could be reading those as well and labeling those as fans. But at the end of the day, if they are not truly fans, and don't give me that bullshit like if you watch every episode you're a fan, that's not it. I watched every episode of The 100, season 1 and 2, and I'm not anywhere near a fan, you know what I mean? I watched that to review it. I reviewed season 1, season 2, at the very end, they did some bullshit where I said, this is dumb. I'll never ever review this shit. It's such a waste of time. There's a few things I did that with, Z Nation. Z Nation is, I get why some people like it in that sense. For me, it is, Z Nation is, if you want a mini review, it is all the worst things in the zombie genre over the past 40 years combined into one show. That is Z Nation. I can't stand it. I've watched every episode of the first season when it was first new, you know what I mean? Does that make me a fan? No. I watched it because I'm a huge fan of the genre. I watched it to do a review on it. Initially, I had other reasons. I wanted to be able to talk about the first season without judging it. And what if it got really good after episode 3? Unfortunately, it didn't. But you see what I'm saying? I want to justify that. It doesn't matter if someone watches every single episode. It doesn't mean they're a fan. But this is not to sit here and point out who's a fan and who's not. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I want as many people watching as possible. Ratings are the best thing for the show. The most support as we can get, it's the best thing for our show. What it boils down to me is I'm not going to take every single negative thing I hear about the show to heart. Don't even sweat it. Every season, every episode, even the great ones, you get fans that bitch and complain and moan, but there's also so many fans that love the shit out of these episodes. The new episode of The Walking Dead is airing tonight, so on that review, go ahead and put your new Q&A questions, and hopefully if I have time, we'll do another Q&A video next week after the reviews and the predictions. You got a playlist here and something to subscribe here. Hopefully that's on screen and you can see it. Click on one of those to watch something else. If you're new, hit subscribe. We do The Walking Dead TV show, the comic, everything else in the world of The Walking Dead. I'm done talking. It's your turn.